There are compliments you hear, and then there are compliments you feel, the kind that don't just touch your ears, but hit your chest and stay there. Because for once, someone didn't praise your looks. They saw your effort, your quiet strength, the parts of you no one ever claps for. And when those words land, something shifts. You don't just feel noticed, you feel understood. That's why this compliment hits different. It doesn't chase attention, it creates connection. If you've ever wished someone truly saw you, stay with me till the end. This might change how you speak forever. Comment your location and let me know where you're watching from. Subscribe to the channel for more words that actually matter. Most compliments never make it past the surface. They land, get acknowledged, and fade, not because they are wrong, but because they are predictable. When you compliment how someone looks, you are reacting to what is already obvious. You are confirming what the mirror tells them every day. And while that can feel good in the moment, it rarely changes how a person feels about themselves. What truly lands, what actually stays, is the compliment that recognizes who someone is beneath what they present. When you acknowledge a person's character, effort, or inner discipline, you are doing something psychologically powerful. You are validating an identity, not an appearance. You are saying, I see the work you do when no one is watching. I notice the strength it takes to show up the way you do. That kind of recognition hits differently because it speaks to the self, not the ego. Philosophically, humans crave meaning more than admiration. We want to know that our struggles, choices, and values are visible to someone else. This is why a compliment about resilience, consistency, emotional intelligence, or integrity often creates a pause. It makes people stop and process. It disrupts the usual script. Instead of triggering a polite thank you, it triggers reflection. The mind starts asking, do they really see that in me? And when the answer feels like yes, trust begins to form. Trust is the foundation of real connection, not attraction alone. There is also authority in this kind of compliment. Anyone can comment on beauty. It takes awareness to notice growth, discipline, or emotional depth. When you name something specific and earned, it signals intelligence and presence. You are not throwing words into the air. You are making an observation. People instinctively respect that because it feels grounded in reality rather than desire. Another reason this works is because most people are under-acknowledged in the areas that matter most to them. They may be praised for results, but rarely for the effort behind those results. They may be admired for confidence, but rarely for the courage it took to build it. When you speak to those hidden layers, you give someone permission to feel proud of themselves without performing. And here's the quiet truth. When someone feels truly seen, they remember who made them feel that way. Not because of manipulation, but because recognition creates emotional safety. Safety creates attachment. And attachment grows when words align with truth. So if you want your words to matter, stop reaching for what's easy to compliment. Start noticing what's real, because when you speak to someone's inner world, you don't just compliment them. You leave a mark. Words don't carry power on their own. Power comes from context. The same compliment can feel empty or unforgettable depending on when it's said and how it's delivered. This is where most people miss the mark. They focus on finding the perfect words, but psychology tells us it's not the wording that creates impact. It's timing, tone, and intention aligning in the same moment. When a compliment is delivered during obvious flirtation or expectation, the listener's mind filters it. They ask themselves, what do they want? That question weakens the emotional effect immediately. Even sincere praise can lose credibility if it arrives at a moment when validation feels transactional. The brain is wired to protect itself from manipulation, so it evaluates motive before meaning. But when a compliment comes unexpectedly, without demand or performance attached, It bypasses that filter. It lands clean. This is why timing matters so deeply. Saying something meaningful when no reaction is required, when there is no audience, and when nothing is being asked in return gives your words weight. It signals self-control and emotional independence. You are not speaking to gain. You are speaking because you noticed something real. Tone reinforces this more than people realize. A grounded, calm tone communicates certainty. It says, "I'm not trying to impress you. I'm simply stating what I see." Confidence in delivery is not about volume or intensity. It's about steadiness. When your voice is relaxed, your body language neutral, and your pace unhurried, the compliment feels like an observation rather than a performance. Observations feel true. Performances feel temporary. Philosophically, this connects to how humans assign meaning. We trust information more when it appears unforced. The mind associates calm delivery with honesty and emotional regulation. This is why someone who speaks less, but with intention, often carries more authority than someone who speaks constantly. Silence, when paired with well-timed words, amplifies impact. Another overlooked factor is restraint. When compliments are rare, they become valuable. Overuse dulls meaning. If everything is praised, nothing feels special. Strategic restraint shows discernment. It communicates that your approval is not automatic. That doesn't create distance. It creates respect. People lean in when they sense that your words are considered, not impulsive. This is also why compliments that hit different are often short. They don't over-explain or justify themselves. They leave space for the other person to feel. Space invites reflection. Reflection deepens emotional response. The goal is not to overwhelm, but to resonate. So before speaking, pause. Ask yourself not just what you want to say, but why now and from what place. Because when timing and tone are aligned, even a simple sentence can carry lasting weight. And the truth is this: words said with presence change people more than words said with precision. What happens next is where most people underestimate the power of a compliment that truly lands. When someone feels deeply understood, something subtle but significant takes place internally. Their nervous system relaxes. Defenses lower, not because they were impressed, but because they felt safe. Psychological safety is the root of emotional attachment. We don't bond most strongly with people who excite us. We bond with people who make us feel seen without pressure and valued without conditions. When a compliment connects to a person's inner identity, it validates their self-concept. That matters because humans are constantly negotiating who they believe they are. When someone else accurately reflects that back to them, it stabilizes their sense of self. That stability feels grounding. And we are drawn to people who ground us. This is not about flattery. It is about alignment. The compliment resonates because it matches something they already feel, but may not often hear articulated. Philosophically, this touches on a deep human need for recognition. Not recognition as applause, but recognition as acknowledgement. To be recognized is to be confirmed as real. When someone names your values, your discipline, or your emotional depth, they are confirming your existence at a level beyond roles or appearances. That confirmation creates a bond because it reduces existential isolation. For a moment, you are not alone in your inner world. This is why emotional attachment often forms quietly. There is no rush, no dramatic shift, just a lingering sense that being around this person feels different. Safer, more honest, the mind remembers that feeling even when it forgets the exact words. Over time, that memory becomes association. This person equals understanding. This person equals calm. This person equals respect. Attachment grows not from intensity, but from consistency in how someone makes us feel about ourselves. It's also important to understand that this kind of attachment cannot be forced. The moment a compliment is used as a tool to gain control, its effect reverses. The brain detects incongruence, safety disappears. Authentic connection only forms when the compliment is an expression, not a strategy. When your words are true regardless of outcome, they carry integrity. Integrity is what makes people trust your presence, not just your voice. Another reason this works is because it invites reciprocity without demanding it. When someone feels understood, they naturally want to understand in return. Not out of obligation, but curiosity. That mutual curiosity is the beginning of real connection. It creates dialogue instead of performance, depth instead of chasing validation. So the question is not how to make someone attached. That's the wrong focus. The real question is how present, honest, and observant you are willing to be. Because when your words reflect truth and your intention is clean, connection becomes a byproduct, not a goal. And this is the closing truth worth sitting with. When you speak to someone's inner world with clarity and respect, you don't create attachment. You create resonance, and resonance is what people carry with them long after the conversation ends.